Welcome to this session about how to set up and consume a WMTS using GMedia Smart Client 15. In the next couple of minutes, we'll talk about the prerequisites that are required to configure WMTS. Next, we will configure the WMTS and publish it. And finally, we will add it to the Smart Client project. How to set up the WMTS? What are the prerequisites? To set up a WMTS in GMedia Smart Client, a project has to be configured and must be ready to use. Therefore, we have already prepared a GMSC project, so let's have a look at the Smart Client Administrator, and later on let's have a look at the end user perspective starting GMedia Smart Client. We have already started the administrator, and this is the new 2015 home screen. So the first thing that we should check is our project. We are using the already well-known project of Las Vegas. We have our standard project in here. We have the legend already configured with some themes in there, and we have a project view, and this project view having the flat zones, parcels, census blocks and hotels in there will be exactly what we will need in our WMTS. So let's have a look at the client side to see how it looks like on the map. Therefore, we have prepared the user and the role for it. This for sure would not be necessary to configure the WMTS, but as we would like to see how it looks like in Smart Client, we configured the user for it. So here in the Smart Client that has already been started before, we can see our project, the standard project. We have the census blocks in here. When we zoom in, we can get a better look on the flat zones. We zoom in, and now the hotels will appear in the center, and we will get the parcels together with that. So you can see different scale ranges have different features visible, the style changes on those features, and this is exactly what we would also like to see in our WMTS. So now that we have seen how it looks like in Smart Client, we will start to configure the actual WMTS. To configure and publish the WMTS, we have to log on to the administrator again, and then we can click here on New WMTS. For the new WMTS, we need to define a name for it. We have to select the project. Out of the project, we get the WMTS area, which by default is the same as the project area, but for sure you could change the area in case that it is different to the project area. Then we can set the format, and we could define an alternative background color. In our case, we will leave the transparent color to be white. And the most important thing for the WMTS is to define the scale ranges here. So we need to define the depth for it. You can manually key in a depth, or you can let the system calculate you the depth. The system may calculate the depth using the area for the WMTS, and then you can define the highest level of detail that you would like to use together with that WMTS. For the demo in here, I will just need to set 1500 as the highest level of detail in my scale range. For sure, depending on the detail level that you would like to have, you will put 500 or even less. Once we have our scale range in here, the calculated depth will be 12, so we will have 12 scale ranges in our WMTS. We can save this one. Now it will be taken over to the actual form, and once we have everything filled out correctly, we can save it, and we have created our WMTS, at least the basic settings. Once we have our WMTS, we can now see the scales that were calculated depending on our zoom levels. Now we need to actually define what are the features that we would like to use in our WMTS. We have the hotels in here, and the infrastructure, we do not need anything. We need the parcels from the land register, we need the flat zones from the hazards, and we need our census blocks out of the census data and assign it to our WMTS. And Finally, we also need to define the order in our WMTS. So what is on top here is also on top in our WMTS, equal to the configuration of the project itself. So we could move around them by selecting and moving it, but in our case it's actually already correct. So we will have the hotels on top, then we will get the parcels, the flat zones, and as the bottom layer we will have our census blocks. Now that we have finished the configuration part, we can publish the WMTS by clicking on New WMTS Publish Order. All we need to do is to give it a name. To remember our publish order, select the project, select the WMTS. We can see the depth is 12 and the format is PNG. And we could select a certain zoom level in case that we would like to publish just one zoom level instead of the whole WMTS, and save our publish order. Now the publish order starts immediately, and now we just have to wait until this publish order will be finished. Now that we have finished the publish order, we can consume the WMTS within GeoMedia Smart Client, or as we will see in another session, to configure public maps, but for sure you can use this WMTS in any application that supports the OGC standard. To add it to GeoMedia Smart Client, we go back to the configuration of our WMTS, copy the URL, click on New Feature, click on WMTS, select the project up here, give it a name. We could set the minimum and maximum scale. I would like to always have this WMTS visible. Put the URL in here. Then we can select the layer, can select the style, the matrix set, the format, and the axis order, which in our case is easting northing. Save this one. Go to our project, add it to the legend, the WMTS. We already have a theme for it. Assign this one to the theme, and then all we need to do is to add it to a role, our Las Vegas role. On the features part, we select visualize for our WMTS in here and apply this one. And now we can start GeoMedia Smart Client. We have already started the GeoMedia Smart Client, so let's have a look at it. In here, this is our initial view with the WMTS still invisible, and this is our vector view. So these are the vector data that we have initially configured. So if we zoom in, we can see we can get the hotels to be visible. And now if we go back to the whole project view, let's switch to the WMTS view. So you can see all the other features will be invisible and only the WMTS is visible now. So it's the same look and feel that what we had, but now as a WMTS. And if we zoom in, we can see our data as WMTS. This was the session about how to configure a WMTS using GeoMedia Smart Client and then consume it within the Smart Client. I hope you enjoyed the session. Thanks for your attention.